there, mateys. And you know, with the sailboat, you're going to have to go up the mast at some time to replace a light bulb, untangle a line, or do something like that. Well, how do you get up there? Well, of course, you can always hire the boatyard to have somebody go up and fix it. Or what a lot of people do is they have their bosun chair, they hook themselves in, and they find somebody to crank them up. Now, a couple of issues with that is, first of all, you have to find somebody that's willing to do that and capable of doing it for you. And the other things are, you know, when you do that, you're putting your safety in life in someone else's hands, and you're asking an awful lot of them to take on the responsibility of your safety. Now, there's other kinds of mast climbing ways out there. I mean, you've got ladders that get hoisted up along the sail track. There's steps that you can put in there. There's a block and tackle type of thing that you can use. And, you know, no matter which way you go, there's going to be some effort in that. Well, I think I have found probably the safest and easiest system to use with the least amount of effort. It's called the mast lift or drum winch, the endless line. It's by Swi-Tec, and I'll show you the unit, some of the accessories with it, how it operates, and why it's so easy and safe to use. Well, all right, guys, here is the base unit, and this comes in two sizes. There's the 1001, which is 43 feet of lift, and then the 1002, which is 82 feet. So the 02 is going to be a little bit bigger drum because there's more load line on it. As far as the endless line is concerned, here, which is what you're going to use to hoist yourself up and lower with, that's sized for the unit and what you're using it for. You can check their website and see all the different attachments that you can get with this, and many of the different uses that you can use it for besides just ascending the mast. And we're going to present those in some other videos. But for right now, let's just talk about what we get here. So this is what you get. One of the options is this protective bag, and I highly recommend this to keep the unit from banging up against the mast and scratching your mast, or the mast scratching the unit. This is really a nice item to have with it, and I'll show you that in a minute here. So first thing you should do is, when you get the unit, go through the user instructions. Even though we're talking about it here, hopefully I don't miss anything, but it's just good to have a written record here too. Now, one of the things I mentioned about that this is a safe unit, I say that because here, this is what we're going to use to raise this to the top of the mast, and then the load line here, we're going to keep this down on our deck, and that's what our bosun chair is going to get attached to. With this, you can attach two halyards to this. I use my main and my jib halyard to raise this with, just an extra built-in safety. This unit also carries the German Lloyd seal and the SOLAS, S-O-L-A-S, the International Safety of Life at Sea seal. So, you know, this has been through a few tests. It's very, very safe. The load line here, that's got a maximum load of 330 pounds for the unit, and then the braking strength of this is over 4,600 pounds. I mean, you know, that's a lot of weight. Well, now let's take a look at how this gets put together and what this little handle here is for. Well, let's start with opening the unit up, putting on the endless line. So we're going to pull this plug out, or pin out, and be careful not to lose this bolt, or this nut here, because that's drilled at the same time it's put together and drilled, so it's going to fit. This is the line feed for the endless line. Then this comes up, and this lever here, it's a locking lever that controls the clutch and the brake. The way this is put together, see how that fits into these holes here, these slots? That way this isn't inadvertently activated while you're ascending or descending. So you're going to take that off. Then we're going to need to pull out whatever we're going to need for the height of the mast, pull out our load line. And to do that, you just, there we go, we got that pushed so it releases the clutch and the brake, and then I'm just going to pull out what I need. Now it's important too, don't pull this all the way out. You should probably leave 2 or 3 wraps on it at least. Now I've left quite a few wraps on that because I only have a 38-foot mast, and this is good for 43 feet. We were going to release this, and now how we hook the endless line in, and you see here it's braided together and it's got a couple of safety stitches in it too. Alright, so now guys, we're going to attach our endless line here to hoist this up, and what we need to do on that, first, we put it through this guide. Through the cover. And this is very precise measurements. When you go to put that cover on, if it doesn't fit easily, that means we haven't got this pushed in solid enough. And now, where's my little, here we are. See the 2 little slots here to help lock that in. Now, like I said, if this doesn't go on easy, that means we haven't got that on right. And there we go, I've got it right. Then our guide goes on, just like this. Our locking bolt, or nut, and that's it, hand tight, because you see this is pre-drilled. Put the safety pin in, voila. Now we're ready to raise the unit to the top. Now, a couple of important things here. When you're raising this, you want to have the label out so that the load line is away from the mast. You don't want it this way where the load line is against the mast. All right, so that's important. The other thing, when you're raising yourself, how do you know you're going in the right direction? Well, you don't hear anything. That's lowering. Here we are. You hear the clicking? That means that the clutch and the brake are activated. Now another thing, once you get wherever you're going, to the top or lower, here we are. Now when you go to pull to release yourself, you're going to have a little bit of a tug because it needs to release that upward motion to the downward, and there you see that, how it kind of, you're going to have a little bit of a drop, but not significant, and then down you go. Now one other thing here, guys, you're not going to be free falling. When you pull this to let yourself down, if you release this, you're going to stop. When you're going up, same thing. You release it, you stop. There's no free falling like as if you were rappelling on a rappelling harness. If you let this go, you're going to stop. So that's a really big safety factor here. Now we spoke earlier about the protective cover here, and I didn't think you needed to see how that, it's pretty self-explanatory. But now you're done, you're going to put the unit away. You could wind it up like this, but that's going to take you a while because of the 10-to-1 ratio. That's what this little handle is for, and this knob over here, so you can wind it up. But remember the safety features here. This lever cannot be activated to release the clutch and the brake. So we take this off. And we remove this cover. Now we can activate the clutch here like this. Oh, let me get this off here. And just wind it up. Now the same thing here though, you want to keep a little bit of pressure on this just like you would on your jib furling. You want to have a little bit of pressure on that. So that's one thing you can do. Sorry. The other thing, what I'm doing is, because I know how much load line I need out, I'm keeping this all attached. And what I'm doing is just rolling the load line around the unit like this. You know, and then coil the endless line around that. Now next time I get ready to send the mast, this is all set up. Get this the right direction, and we're ready to go. That's all there is to it. Safe, easy, solo mast climbing.